Do you ever feel like there's never enough time? Like no matter how hard you try, you're constantly rushing and juggling and barely keeping your head above water. I used to feel exactly this way until I discovered a few surprising strategies that completely transformed how I manage my time and my life. In this video, I'm not just sharing tips, I am walking you through the exact steps that I use to go from overwhelmed and exhausted to feeling in control and, dare I say, free. Stick with me because by the end, you will have a game plan to reclaim your time and your peace of mind. Let's get real about this feeling of not enough time. It's not just you. A study by Gallup found that 80% of people reported feeling rushed even during their leisure time. Think about that. We can't even relax without feeling guilty about what we should be doing. But why is that? Part of the problem is cultural. We've been taught to glorify busyness, to equate it with productivity and success, and even self-worth. As the writer Tim Creeder put it in his essay, The Busy Trap, busyness serves as a kind of existential reassurance, a hedge against emptiness. Ouch, right? But true. Then there is the sheer volume of things that we are trying to cram into our days. Work, family, side hustles, self-care, social media. It's like a never-ending to-do list. And a lot of the advice out there only adds more layers to the chaos. Actually, before we go any further, drop me a quick note in the comments below if this is something that you're struggling with, if a feeling of time poverty is familiar to you. Now, the truth is, the problem isn't a lack of time. It's how we're approaching it. To solve the problem, we need to think about time differently. What if instead of seeing time as a scarce resource, we saw it as abundant? This is what's called a time abundance mindset. And the key here is to shift from trying to do more to focusing on doing less but better. The time abundance mindset starts with reframing how we think about our days. Instead of constantly feeling like we're racing against the clock, we remind ourselves that time is flexible and can expand when we focus on what truly matters. Research shows that people who perceive time as abundant, people who focus on the quality of their moments rather than the quantity, these people report higher satisfaction and less stress. I've spent a lot of time in France over the years. I have owned a second home there for about 15 years, and the French have an intriguing approach to time. They drive like the dickens to get where they're going, but once they arrive, they slow right down and spend 2 hours lingering over a long lunch. Every day. They minimize the time spent on necessary things, maybe even making it more fun for themselves, who knows, and then maximize the time spent on the pleasurable and important things. What I find so fascinating is that it feels deliberate. It's like they're totally aware that they are in control of how they choose to spend their time, and this is how they have chosen to spend it. And it's a reminder that we can do the same, consciously decide what is worth shrinking or eliminating and what's worth savoring. The key is realizing that we are the ones shaping our days, not the other way around. One of my favorite quotes about time comes from Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, who wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Harsh, but true. So how do we begin to adopt a time abundance mindset? Well, I've got 5 steps to help you do that. And the first step, as I said, is to start thinking about time differently. This is all about reframing your thoughts around time. Instead of saying, "I don't have time," practice saying, "I choose how to spend my time." This subtle shift puts you in control and reminds you that you have agency over your schedule. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sometimes it feels like life is running the show, not you. You have a boss, deadlines, and kids who need things, and a million responsibilities that are pulling at you. But here's the thing. Even in the middle of all of that, you still have small pockets of control over how you choose to spend your energy and focus. It's not about eliminating all the demands in your life. That's unrealistic. It's about finding the moments where you do have a choice, like deciding to set a boundary or say no to one thing or carve out 5 minutes for yourself, and then maximizing those moments. For example, maybe you can't skip your deadlines or your kids' needs, but you can decide to stop scrolling social media for 20 minutes a night and instead spend that time reading a book or doing something that recharges you. Over time, those small changes add up to a big shift in how you feel about your time. You may not control everything, but you're not as powerless as it might seem. Now, the second step is to slow down intentionally. Give yourself permission to slow down. When we multitask or rush, time feels scarce because we're scattering our attention. Instead, practice doing just one thing at a time with full focus. Whether it's drinking your morning coffee or completing a work task, slowing down can help to make time feel more abundant. The next step is to recognize time abundance moments. Reflect on moments in your day where you feel like time stretches, like being engrossed in a hobby or a deep conversation or a walk in nature. Use these moments as reminders that you can create the sensation of having more time by being fully present. From there, the fourth step is to choose what matters most. Time abundance isn't about cramming more into your day. It's about doing less, but focusing on what truly matters. Ask yourself, what are the few things that I can do today that will have the biggest impact on my happiness and goals? And the final step is to let go of time-wasting mindsets. So let go of the guilt around saying no or taking breaks. Time abundance mindset means recognizing that rest and space are not indulgent, they're essential. Remind yourself it's okay to prioritize yourself and your peace of mind. Now, so far, all of these steps are designed to help you to embrace a time abundance mindset. But I also want to give you some practical strategies to really live out this mindset on a day-to-day basis. And so much of this is not about managing time or finding ways to be super productive and get more done in a day. Instead, it's about managing priorities. And I've got 7 strategies to help you do this. Before I get into those 7 strategies, I also want to mention that I have put together a free guide with my top time-saving hacks. It gives you specific, easy actions to take that will help you to create much more time in your day, and you can just go ahead and download that guide for free. Just follow the link in the description below. First, eliminate the noise. Start by identifying tasks that don't truly add value to your life. What can you delegate or automate or simply let go of? Look at your calendar and highlight any meetings, commitments, or obligations that drain your energy without moving you closer to your goals. Cancel or delegate at least one this week. Next, implement the 3 priority rule. Each day, focus on just 3 main goals. Write them down and commit to them. Why 3? Because our brains thrive on simplicity. Research in cognitive psychology shows that narrowing focus reduces decision fatigue and increases follow through. As you plan your day, ask, what 3 things, if done today, will make me feel accomplished? Another strategy is to practice time blocking with intention. Structure your day around energy, not just tasks. Pay attention to your natural energy cycles. Are you most focused in the morning or the evening? Plan your most challenging work for your peak hours and reserve low energy times for routine tasks like emails. Use tools like a digital calendar to create blocks of time for each priority. The 4th strategy is to try batching your tasks. Group similar activities together, like emails or errands, to reduce mental switching and save hours over the week. For example, instead of checking your inbox every 30 minutes throughout the day, dedicate 2 30-minute slots each day to handle emails. This reduces the mental cost of constantly switching between tasks and helps you to stay in flow. I also want you to build white space, which is strategy number 5. Schedule unstructured time to reflect or think or simply rest. Research shows that creativity and problem solving thrive in these moments of pause. Author Cal Newport calls this deep work, where uninterrupted time leads to breakthroughs. Give yourself permission to have at least 15 to 30 minutes of non-productive time each day to let your mind wander or recharge. Strategy number 6 is to set boundaries. Time poverty often stems from saying yes to just way too many things. Start practicing saying no to commitments that don't align with your goals or your values. A powerful phrase to use is, I'd love to help, but I can't give it the attention it deserves right now. And finally, strategy number 7 is to audit your time. Spend 1 one day tracking everything you do, every task, every distraction. Then review it and identify what could have been eliminated or streamlined. This simple exercise often reveals surprising time wasters like excessive scrolling or overly long meetings. I'll be honest, I have struggled with time poverty too. A few years ago, my days felt like endless marathons. When my kids were really young and I was working full-time at a medical clinic and I just had way too many things on the go. I felt like I was constantly running on fumes, trying to be everything to everyone. And what helped me the most was learning to say no and creating boundaries. I also got very clear and focused on my priorities. I started using the 3-priority rule, choosing 3 main things to accomplish each day instead of just overwhelming myself with a never-ending to-do list. And I blocked out specific times for work and family, which gave me the structure that I needed to feel more in control. So here's what I want you to do. Pick just one of these strategies and try it for the next week. Start small, maybe just the 3-priority rule, and just see how it feels. The point isn't to perfect your time overnight. It's to begin reclaiming control one step at a time. Remember, time isn't the enemy. It's how we use it that matters. Don't forget to download my free guide to creating more time in your day and free yourself from that constant feeling of time poverty. Just go ahead and follow the link in the description below. And if this video resonated with you, hit the like button and share it with somebody who needs it. And if you are ready for more, I think that you're going to really enjoy the video that is coming up on the next screen. I will see you there. As the writer Tim Creeder put in, I don't know how to say that, Tim Creeder. As the writer, stick with me because why? I try to do all my fiddling while I am not speaking. Okay, all right, that's a wrap.